So welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about number internalization. So what is number internalization? Yeah, you could have seen something like that, but you are not aware that that's exactly what's going on at the back end, probably. So a good example of it is when you open your bank account, you are going to see the amount of the balance you have on your bank, and most of it usually come. Let's say I have 1,000 in some account, you are going to have this comma. But in a real time, if you are writing the code, you are going to write something like this. So normally JavaScript does not recognize anything that has this comma. So it's going to truncate it. It's not going to recognize this as number. So even if you try to hack it, no matter how you try to hack it, if you try to add or subtract, maybe someone make a transfer something, it's not going to do anything. So the best thing to do is what I want to tell you now. So how to actually make all those things work fine. You understand? So how to make them work fine and have comma, so you can use them for maybe you're building a fintech solution or you're building something that has something to do like that. So that's first of all. So these are create a simple HTML document and a JavaScript document, just fresh pages. So what we are going to do is first of all declare our HTML thing, and the title, let's name it number internalization. So let's put it that way. Let's put the number internalization. Then we have our script. So let's bring in our script. So let's put in our script like this. Then we're gonna call the script. Sorry. So we're gonna call the script. Then let's put a differ so that I can bypass it and recognize. So in order to test our script, let's try to console something. So let us say Adi. So let's save and let me write our. So let's check our inspect and go down console. So exactly we have Adi here. So let's go back to do. So let's just create a paragraph, maybe something we can be used to work on. So instead of creating such paragraph, let's give our paragraph an ID that will make the JavaScript to identify the particular place we want to manage. So the best is to just write p, then hashtag. Let's name this one balance. So let's say balance. Yeah, exactly. So this is going to work as a balance. Let's say no balance. So no balance, save. So when we come to our distance, so we have no balance here. So let's start with our scripting. So on this our script, we are going to declare few variables. I just want to make it simple as much as I can, so that it will not confuse you. So the first thing is, let's first declare a variable to, let's say, bar. So this bar, we are going to use it to point, to select what we have. Rather, sorry, a dark dot query selector. So let's call this balance. So what we did here is we try to target this guy here. So this guy is an ID. So the name of the ID is balance. So we have used this bar to document.query selector to select this particular ID. So anytime we call val, you should understand that we are calling this guy, because that's what it is. So let's try to test val. So when we say val dot inner HTML, we want to change the text in the HTML. Let's say we want to change it to, let's say, just random number, and we save. Let's see if it can change. Sorry. So exactly, so it's changed like that. So basically our JavaScript are working. So now let's go to this thing. Let's go to the main point. So now let's try to declare a variable and let's name it amount. That is, this amount will be the total amount of money we have in our account. Yeah. So in order to now, if we, so that is 2,000 naira we have in our accounts. So basically we have two variables. First variable is to select this particular ID, and the second variable is to just declare an amount that will display here that we have on our system. So anytime we change this amount, it's going to change right here. So the next thing we are going to do is to just try to now declare a variable for this format for the topic of today. So the topic of today is numbers internalization. So how are you going to go about it? So me, this is the best way I like doing it. I like declaring function to it, but before using the function, let me use the simple variable so that you can catch up so easily. So let me declare a variable and call the variable f, just f, so that it can be easily, I can call it easily. So then you can say new, yeah. So internalization, just this dot number format, dot number format. So they use brackets. Then this is what we are going to use. So what did I do here? We have three variables. The first variable is this, where we select the ID. Second variable is amount, that we manipulate the amount we have on our accounts that will be manipulated. And this is the method we want to try to use. You understand? So basically, let's try to do something to it. So if we call ball, we know that ball is this particular guy here, this particular guy here. So we have called it out. We want to print something inside it. So then next thing we are going to do is, let's say, inner HTML is equals to. So what do we want to print inside our HTML? This balance. But before we print it, if we just print the balance, let's say we just print the balance. What's the variable of the balance? Amount, which is this. If I save it, it's going to give us exactly something like this, and that's not what we want to that's not what we want to actualize. We want it to give it a comma so that it can make sense whenever we are using it on the tech or something like that. So the next thing we are going to do, instead of calling the variable directly, we are not going to call it. So we are going to call f, which is this that we have declared internalization there. So we are going to call f dot, then we are going to write format. So inside this format, that's when we are going to write our amount. So when I click on save, I come back here, so we have it. So exactly, it's as simple as ABC. So we have the comma. So this inbuilt method is going to do the work for you. In fact, we have 2,000. If you have 20,000, it's going to do the same. If you have 200,000, it's going to do the same. In fact, if we have 2 million, it's going to do the same. So if you, no matter how much money we have there, it's going to do the same. Even if we have 1, 2 billion, any amount of money that we have there, it's going to do the needful. You can see. So it's going to do the needful to whatever thing we have there. However, we can as well as use cover. You know, cover has dots, and we can just put some. If I use this, it's going to round it up. Let's say we have this, maybe 42 cover. So it's going to have our cover there without touching it. So whatever calculation we are having, the cover is just a decimal point that have something like that. So that's on that, and you can actually work on this normal internalization in the sense that you can change the currency. You can use the currency and the language. Let's say you want to use the language, you can say then yes. So that is United States. Then you use a comma, then you write your curly braces. So what are you going to do in this curly braces? What we want to do is we want it to put a dollar sign in front whenever we play this guy. So we can just say, after that curly brace is when you can now say currency, then can I use currency USD. Then can I use style? Then the style, we cannot see the style of this thing should be the currency. So when I save, when I go back here, so we can see that we now have a dollar sign in front of our currency. So we don't have too much, although you can actually crack this out and just design just before the amount or the tables of the amount. But you can actually use this too. So it makes it much easier. You can change the currency, but just that it recognizes those pounds, dollars, and the sign that are in the keyboard. But we are using Nigeria, just like let's say we are using NGN and we save. You can see just put the NGN, not going to put the Naira sign. So it's better you can use your own method. In fact, you can put the Naira sign here. If you have the Naira sign, you can put the Naira sign here, and it's going to put the Naira sign in front of it. So that is how to do that, and it makes sense. So before I end this video, I want to also talk about something. Another thing you can use this to do. Please note you can change the language to anything. You can change it to French, you can change it to everything. So you can also change all the styling and everything to your taste. But there's something I want you to know, which is quite important for you to know. You understand? So before we even go, let me just try to explain. Whenever you are watching YouTube video, you always see something like let's say you always see something like 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 3,000 views. But when YouTube want to tell you 3,000 views, it's going to write 3K. Or maybe on Instagram, you have 10 million followers. It's not going to write 10 million in number. It's going to write 10M. So how does the system understand when it gets to 10M, when it gets to this, when it gets to that, when it gets to this? So you can actually use this number internalization to actually crack that half as well. So how are we going to achieve that? Let's try to do something like this. How are you going to achieve that? So instead of calling the currency and calling this thing, so there's a particular thing you can call notation. So what is this notation? Coming. So what is this notation? So you are going to use the notation and compact. So the notation compact is going to summarize it and compress it to something that will be small. For instance, now we are using notation and put it in compact. So this amount is how much? That is, I think that is 2 million. Yes, that's 2 million. Instead of writing 2 million or putting comma, you're just going to write 2M. That is it. You can see it wrote 2M. That is it. So if you have less, maybe you have 200K. Let's say you have 200K and you see you're going to write 200K. So they just put the view in front of it, 200K view, 200K follower, 300K. Exactly how they do all these things. So they're so simple. There's no too much work there on all these things. So you can see just write 2K and let's say 2.5, let's say 2,300. So it's going to write 2.3K. So you know that this person is 2,300. So let's assume this person have 3. Let's say this person have 2,300,000. When I save, I'm going to write 2.3M exactly. So even if I have billion, it's going to have the billion. You can see 2.3 billion. So that is how simple number internalization is, and it's so helpful. So what makes me remember this right now to make this video, because I was working on the microfinance solution, and when I was working on the backend, I decided to use the number internalization to do the accounts and all those things, and it worked perfectly for me. I don't have to do too much work at the backend. I just have the function I can use. So what's the assignment I want to give you? I want to give you the assignment that if you want to declare this number internalization anywhere in the document, all I want you to do is you can just create a function and name it. You can name, let's say, function. Let's say internalization. Let's just put internalization. And by the time you put something like this, sorry, or let me see, architect. I'll just put something like this. So I want in the way that whenever I put any of my, maybe the variable here, when I put the variable here, the variable of this amount, it should just do the number internalization immediately. So that is the assignment. It's so simple as this too. So if you are not getting that, you can drop comment on the group chat. I'm going to do the function part, which is quite easier and more useful than creating the variable, which is quite long. So I hope you understand it. So I've explained how to use it for currency now, and I've explained how to use it and everything. Understand? So I try to explain that view because I think one of the students are actually working on YouTube clone, and I saw some of them just writing something like that. So that's just a simple clarity that you can use something like that for. Thank you very much. My name is Marco.